Okay, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Well, hello again. I'm back. It is Thursday, May 14th, and it is 10:31 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to pick up exactly where we left off in the last video, and we're going to attempt to try and finish these Q posts. So I've already uploaded the first one to, and it's processing, so it'll probably be processing for the next half hour or so. And in the meantime, I will record this one. Now, in case I don't get to another video after this one, because I'm thinking that this is going to be probably it for tonight, I do want to thank a couple people. I want to thank Jay Miller, who donated via coffee, and I want to thank Sherry Lynn, who also donated via coffee. Also, Patreon, Tanya Nair increased her pledge. So thank you very much. I do depend on the contributions of my listeners, because this channel is demonetized and will stay demonetized because of the subject matter that we deal with. Also, there is no additional advertising on the site whatsoever. So I am grateful to those of you that that do support this channel and that believe in the channel enough to support it, and I appreciate that very, very much. And never, ever, ever, I never, ever want anyone to ever feel guilty, because so many people have sent me little notes and said, oh, I wish I could, but I'm unemployed. And please don't ever feel that way. You are welcome here. You are as welcome as anybody could ever be. So if you can't contribute, then it's all right. You can pray for the channel, or you can comment in the comments, or there's lots of ways to support the channel, not just monetarily. So yeah, don't ever feel bad about that. I mean it. So anyway, let's get on with the Q posts. All right, now we are on drop, still on the 13th of May. We are on drop 4231, 4231. And let's come down here. Q is telling us dates are important. Unmask request prior to Ambassador Kislyak. Phone call? Yes, it was, believe it or not. Who asked Ambassador Kislyak to call Flynn? Setup? FBI entrapment plus FISA late? Justify? Q. All right, well, I'm gonna hit on this image in a bigger way so that we can actually see it, because I do try to keep you guys on your tiny phones in mind when doing this, because I know you deserve to see just as much as anyone else. Okay, it says timeline, what we know about Flynn's phone calls with Russia. Court documents released on Friday show that Michael T. Flynn spoke with a senior Trump transition official before calling Russia's ambassador to the United States to discuss sanctions imposed by President Barack Obama. And it says what was known publicly. December 28th, President Barack Obama signs an executive order announcing sanctions against Russia for trying to interfere with the 2016 presidential election. The executive order takes effect the next day. And of course, we know that there was no Russian interference. So Obama had put those sanctions on Russia unnecessarily. And what happened behind the scenes? Well, December 28th, Sergei I. Kislyak, the Russian ambassador, contacts Michael T. Flynn. December 29th, Mr. Flynn calls a senior transition official to talk about what to say to Mr. Kislyak. They also discussed that members of the presidential transition team at Mar-a-Lago did not want Russia to escalate the situation. December 29th, immediately after that call, Mr. Flynn calls Mr. Kislyak and decides, and immediately after the call, Mr. Flynn calls Mr. Kislyak and asks that Russia not escalate the situation. December 29th. Shortly after his call with Mr. Kislyak, Mr. Flynn calls the transition official to report on his conversation with the Russian ambassador. All right, now, here it says, and right here it says unmasking requests predate the call between General Flynn and Russian ambassador. Collusion narrative destroyed. Yeah, why would they ask for him to be unmasked? Because presumably they wanted to unmask him because of this call, but the request to unmask came before the call. Yeah, lies, lies, everywhere are lies. And let's come down here. December 30th, President Vladimir Putin of Russia announces he will not take retaliatory measures in response to the sanctions. December 30th, Mr. Trump praises Mr. Putin's response on Twitter. I always knew he was very smart. Yeah, Putin knew exactly what was going on. Now, down here, I guess that's it for that. And and up here, this is what we've already looked at regarding the unmasking request. And James R. Clapper requested 3 times. Kelly Degnan, not sure who that is. John Brennan, we all know who that is, director of the CIA. And of course, we know that Joe Biden is on the 3rd page. This is only the 1st page here. So, yeah. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that you guys could see that. And let's go back here. And according to Lisa May Crowley, Kislyak Flynn call, which is at the center of the frame job, occurred on the 29th of December, 2016, 2 weeks after Clapper and Lynch signed order expanding sharing of raw NSA signal intelligence data on the 15th of December. Were multiple unmasking requests made preemptively to make it harder to trace leak to MSM? Most top Hussein admin officials asked to unmask General Flynn before his 29th December 2016 phone call with Kislyak. Rand Paul wants answers, so do we. Most unmasking requests came before the 29th of December 2016 phone call. Was it Comey or Brennan who asked Kislyak to call Flynn on the 28th December to set the trap? And that's exactly what they were doing, is setting the trap. Oh, well, here's Sammy. You probably can't see him from that. I wish that he would be a little bit more, Xander loves the camera, but I guess Sammy's just shy. Okay, Russian collusion narrative destroyed. They were requesting FISA unmask before Ambassador Kislyak phone call with General Flynn. He was set up. Classic case of entrapment of Flynn. I have a feeling Hussein or Kerry asked Kislyak to call. Well, I don't know, but what I do know is I'm sure we'll find out very soon. All right, and this, we are on drop 4232, this by Anon, and this by Adam Housley, and I'm going to have to get to a link here so that you can see that bigger. And Q is saying dates are important. This is exactly the point. Thank you. And he is, this right here is this, and we're going to look at that right now. Adam Housley, I had 2 sources, right on all, didn't mention Biden. I wanted to see the list for myself. Sometimes you wait. You're a good, and Just a Lake Girl responded, you're a good secret keeper. And then down here, how do they explain so many of the requests being prior to the Kislyak call that supposedly was the predicate for the investigation? And Sergeant Schultz, he must have forgotten he was on the list, considering what he told to George Stephanopoulos on Sunday. And he quotes, I was aware that they had asked for an investigation, but that's all I know about it, Biden said in response to Senator Chuck Grassley's comments that he knew about moves to investigate Flynn. Well, it now turns out that Biden was lying. Woo, surprise. Yeah. And down here, it says, And this is right here. It says, this is exactly the point. Thank you. How do they explain so many of the requests being prior to the Kislyak call that supposedly was a predicate for the investigation? And Sergeant Schultz, he must have forgotten he was on the list considering what he told to George Stephanopoulos on Sunday. And then we've got another link, and which is below. I'm going to go to that presently. And then it says, go back further. And it says, the hook, November 30, unmasked, needed justification. Who set up the meeting? Who was directing Ambassador Kislyak to make contact, meeting plus phone? Well, obviously one of them did, because it was a setup for Flynn. And let's look at, these are the tweets in question. This is exactly the point. And over here, I think we've looked at all these. All right, so let's come down here for the last link, what the Mueller report says about Jared Kushner, Ivanka Trump, and Donald Trump Jr. This is from April 18th, 2019. Special Counsel Robert Mueller's 448-page report contains plenty of new details about President Donald Trump's actions before and after the 2016 election, but it also puts a spotlight on the family members he's leaned on during the campaign and his presidency. Notably, the report contains revelations about a 2016 meeting between the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, incoming National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, and a Russian envoy. It also provides details about how the president's daughter, Ivanka Trump, and other members of the president's inner circle reacted after learning about eldest son Donald Trump Jr.'s emails setting up the infamous June 2016 Trump Tower meeting with Russians, and it confirms correspondence between Donald Jr. and WikiLeaks about hacked Clinton campaign emails. All right. Now, noticed in the CBS piece, which is what we just looked at here, Kushner directed Flynn to contact Kislyak. Mueller report regarding Kushner, Ivanka, Donald Jr., Samantha Power required unmasking on the 30th of November. Did she ask Kislyak to call? We don't know yet. And this by Dio Presso Liber says, I'm thinking it was Hussein who was directing Kislyak to make contact with General Flynn. Obama, he's at the top of the coup, and of course he is. But I don't know, until we know for certain from either Q or something that comes out in the news or is declassified, I don't think we're going to know for sure who it was. Anyway, we are now on drop 4233, still on the 13th of May. And we have this. Q has just left us with a link, and this is the link. It goes to here. It says, Devin Nunes, criminal referrals coming for Mueller team. Woohoo! The top Republican on the House Intelligence Committee said criminal referrals are coming from members of former counsel Robert Mueller's team who investigated Russian interference in the 2016 election. We're looking at doing criminal referrals on the Mueller team, the Mueller dossier team, the Mueller witch hunt, whatever you want to call it. That's where we are now in our investigation. Representative Devin Nunes told Fox Nation's witch hunt, we're doing a large criminal referral on the Mueller dossier team that put together a fraudulent report that knew there was no collusion. The day that Mueller walked in the door, the California Republican added, they set an obstruction of justice trap. There's no doubt in my mind that we will make a conspiracy referral there. Mueller released his 448-page report last April. The investigation found numerous links between the Russian government and the Trump campaign, but did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities, because there were no Russian election interference activities. Mueller did not draw a conclusion about whether President Trump obstructed justice, but did lay out 10 instances of possible obstruction in his report. Nunes has long maintained that Mueller knew from the day he became special counsel in May 2017 that there was no coordination between the Trump campaign and the Kremlin. He says the House Intelligence Committee, which conducted its own Russian interference investigation when he was chairman, determined there was no collusion by early 2018. Democrats on the House Intelligence Committee argued that the investigation was wrapped up prematurely, and the current chairman of the panel, Representative Adam Schiff, has repeatedly insisted there was collusion. All right, and Lisa Mae Crowley says, I'm guessing Durham's already on it. Devin Nunes were doing a large criminal referral on the Mueller dossier team that put together a fraudulent report that knew there was no collusion the day that Mueller walked in the door. Yeah, and this is good news. This is what we want. All right, and still on the 13th of May, and we are on drop 4234, 4234, and we have a link here, and the link we have looked at in the past. It is the link, well, let me show you so you'll know. It is this AC-130 gunship, lights up the night, and of course we have seen this many, many times. I don't think it's necessary to play it again, really, but it is basically, it paints the target, blows it up. So there we go. Q is posting that a lot lately, and I think there's a message behind that, because remember when he told us that the target is painted. So what happens after the target's painted? Yeah. All right. And Lisa Mae Crowley says, I believe revelations regarding unsealed documents proving General Flynn was set up, illegal masking requests, 53 released transcripts, etc., serve as bright lasers painting the target for the first indictment. Set 1, our posting about it helped set the stage for public. All right. And still on the 13th of May. 13th of May was a very good day, apparently. And we are on drop 4235, 4235, and Q says the following. The point to understand, they knowingly, there's that word again, unmasked, attached names to, unmasked simply means they're attaching names to these people that shouldn't have been named because they should have been masked. You shouldn't have known who these people were. After POTUS won the election of 2016, they thought they could prevent the exposure of this information and remain protected. Why did they believe this? What insurance did they have? Well, they had the Crossfire Hurricane insurance. Infiltration of U.S. government, that's exactly what they did. They infiltrated the government. This fact alone should scare every American. Shadow presidency, shadow government. It took this long for a reason. And Lisa Mae, they thought their sleepers inside would keep all this incriminating info from being released. They had blackmail on key people. They've infiltrated every organization in our government. It takes a while to root them out. Drop 4196 spells it all out. We're not going to look at that. And of course, here is Sun Q2. Obama's administration unmasked the incoming presidential administration for purposes of infiltrating a coup. For purposes of initiating a coup. They believed they would not get caught. Too bad, so sad, they did. They believed the deep state, which was infiltrated and installed on all throughout the administration, the DOJ, the FBI, the CIA, the White House, and the State Department would protect them from exposure. They also believed the president would be assassinated by their control of rogue terrorist groups and cartels, or they believed he would be impeached. Their initial goal was to last until they retook the House and the Senate. They thought if they could retake the Senate, they would be able to impeach the president after the 2018 midterms. However, the military and the president made sure to prevent them from cheating in the most important battleground states. They were prevented from winning the Senate, which was devastating to their plans. Their attempt to assassinate the president on multiple occasions failed. Their attempt to impeach him failed. Their last insurance policy was the spread of CV. They are failing and will fail. They were operating a shadow government in a shadow presidency through Obama and the Clintons. It has taken 3 years to clean house. As you can see with Judge Sullivan, there are still many deep state operatives who are embedded all throughout the government. The most essential government officers and entities have been cleaned. Nevertheless, there are still many who are embedded, and it will take the president's second term to completely eradicate the disease, meaning they are the disease. All right, and now we are still on the 13th of May. Wow, it just keeps going and going and going. Now we are on drop 4236, and Facebook offers $100,000 to anyone who can stop the memes with artificial intelligence. Oh, see, the left can't meme, and they hate us for it. They hate us. They know those memes are hitting the target, because you know what? A meme can get to a truth so quickly. And yeah, they don't like that. Aw. Hate when that happens. Poor little Zuckerberg, all upset about it. Okay, and here, this is from September 10th, 2018, where Q says, prepare your memes. Non-NSA tech today cannot read or filter. Remember when Q said that? And we thought they could. So that was news to all of us, because we thought that they told us they could. That's the thing. They told us they could filter these memes, and they can't. There's no technology that can filter memes. And so now, because of that, Facebook is now offering $100,000 to anyone who can develop artificial intelligence to be able to, root out these memes, these hateful memes. So we've got this. Facebook announces Hateful Memes Challenge with a $100,000 prize pool to identify hate speech. Yeah. So Facebook is offering a massive cash payout to anyone who can build an AI that identifies hateful memes. Well, I would say that they're panicking, and Q has, confirmed that, because he writes panic. Of course they're panicking, because they know that we have released the memes, and they know they can't root them out, because their AI can't see them, can't tell a good meme from a right meme that is making fun of the Democrats. They can't tell the difference. So yeah, they're panicking. Oh, poor little Zuck. Oh, coochie coo. Yep. Okay, and this is this link right here. Attention, QAnon, do this ASAP. Block anything Reuters from your Facebook and Twitter. Make it viral. I'm not sure why he's saying that, but he is just announcing this that we just looked at. Now, Lisa May says, too funny. 10th of September, 2018, Q said non-NSA tech can't read or filter memes. The 11th of May, 2020, we are ready to unleash hell. Memes ready? 12th of May, 2020, Facebook posted a $100,000 challenge regarding needing AI that can detect hateful memes. And Sun Q2 says they are really in a panic. Memers, you officially have a bounty on your head, $100,000 being offered to a hateful meme challenge by Facebook. Well, there's always somebody that will take that challenge too. That's what scares me, because they don't see this as an infringement on all of our freedoms. They see that $100,000 and they think, all right. And that officially ends May 13th. Now, I think I can get through the 14th, because there's not a whole lot from the 14th. So let me give it a good old college try, and try to get through them so that we will be caught up with Q. It will make me feel better. Okay, here we are on drop 4237, the 14th of May, today. And we have a link here which we're going to go out to. It says Hillary Clinton is openly talking about QAnon. Wow, Hillary openly talking about QAnon. It does not get any more mainstream than that. We must be over the target. Congratulations, Patriot and digital soldiers. We are winning the information warfare. Keep fighting and get the memes ready. Come here. Yeah. Hey, turn around. Look, Sammy. I don't know if you can see him or not. Probably not. All right. And you probably have some bumping around of the microphone because he's standing on that table. Oh, Sammy, show your face. Okay, anyway, I digress. So it says, congratulations, Patriots and digital soldiers. We are winning the information warfare. Let's keep fighting and get the memes ready. So let's look at this. And it says, I thought of tagging Inevitable ET or Ellen O'Shell, or maybe even Lisa May 62 or M2 Madness. Who do I tag to get this story out more? Why is Clinton talking about QAnon and how well organized they are? It's just a LARP, right? Well, that's what they maintain, that it's just a LARP. So why do they care how organized they are? Yeah. So, and down here it says, this is from theatlantic.com, a magazine article. When I spoke with Clinton recently about QAnon, she said, I just get under their skin, unlike anybody else. If I didn't have Secret Service protection going through my mail, finding weird stuff, tracking the threats against me, which are still very high, I would be worried. She has come to realize that the invented reality in which conspiracy theorists place her is not some bizarre parallel universe, but actually one that shapes our own. Referring to internet trolling operations, Clinton said, I don't think until relatively recently most people understood how well organized they were and how many different components of their strategy they have put in place. Yeah. So Hillary Clinton, she's probably a bit worried. I mean, I would be if I were her. All right. Let's go back now. And Lisa May says Hillary Rodham Clinton would be swapping her U.S. Secret Service protection with Gitmo security guards in the future. I wasted way too much time reading this garbage. The author invested a lot of time and effort trying to say Q isn't real. Well, we know differently. And Diopresso Liber, or SunQ2 on Twitter, says Hillary Clinton discusses Q. Well, isn't that special? Now, let's look at this. Again, 14th of May, drop 4238, which former White House staff pushed Dan Coats, sleeper, blocker, as Director of National Intelligence? Example A, who, former White House staff, one or more, introduced, pushed Dan Coats as DNI Director to POTUS? Who, former White House staff, one or more, insisted he could be trusted? Knowingly or unknowingly? Q. Well, I think it was knowingly. It says, still looking to see which former White House staff members recommended Coats for DNI. Only thing I've found is Pence is the one who reportedly recommended Coats for the job. Hope that's not the case. All right. And let's go on now to the next. And we are on drop 4239. 4239. Clapper ducks testifying about Flynn. Phone call leak due to COVID-19. Remote testimony possible. And you're going to understand this in a minute. So let's first go out to the link here. All right, and we're going to listen to this. It's 1 minute and 37 seconds long. And let me make this bigger for the tiny phone people.
Broadly speaking, how many unmasking requests did you make, say, in a given week?
Well, great question, and it varied, and I don't recall the exact number, but over the 6.5 almost years I served as DNI, I would say perhaps once a week, once or twice a week, perhaps, but it would vary.
So
not every day, but fairly frequently. It's a routine thing. It's appropriate and legitimate. When you have a valid foreign intelligence target engaging with a U.S. person, is it, for example, an insider, someone in the government engaging with that foreign adversary? So it's important from the standpoint of potential jeopardy to national security that you understand what's going on.
So you would make those requests once or twice a week, and to be clear, the number of unmasking requests actually went up in the years of the Trump administration from the Obama administration. Do you remember why you made these specific, and there were three, December 2nd, December 28th, January 7th, these requests to unmask the name of an individual?
No, I don't recall what prompted a request that was made on my behalf for unmasking. I don't remember the specifics or what it was in the SIGINT report that was suggestive enough that I was concerned and felt that I should know who was actually involved.
Aside from these...
Yeah, doesn't recall. All right, let's go back. No, really, let's. Okay, where are we? Right here. Okay, is this about... And also, he said, when they asked about whether he would testify, he said, well, when I could do so safely, because I'm not going to, he said basically that he was in a vulnerable demographic and he wouldn't testify or whatever until, because of the COVID-19. So Q says here, remote testimony possible. All right. Oh, and it says, is this about the virus or about protecting themselves? Well, what do you think? Of course, it's not about the virus. Mail-in ballots push election. Of course, they want to keep this narrative going about the virus, and so they want to push it as long as they can and scare people so that they have an excuse for mail-in ballots. That's exactly what they're doing. Democrat state bailout push, or bailouts rather, push, refusal to testify regarding fear of COVID-19. And of course, that's, Clapper actually said that. He says, well, I'm not going to testify if it's going to jeopardize my health or whatever. Who benefits the most? Well, we know who benefits. It's definitely not the Republicans. Okay, now we are on drop 4240. Video of Obama colluding with Russia, Putin saying he would have more flexibility after the election. Now, I don't know if there's anybody that hasn't seen this, but in case you haven't, let's go take a look at it. So, who really colluded with the Russians? Now, let's make this bigger, and like I said, almost everyone has seen this, but he whispers to this person, "This is my last election. After my election, I have more flexibility."
My last election, yeah. And after my election, I have more flexibility. Yeah, I understand. I transmit this information to Vladimir and understand. My last election, yeah. And after my election, I have more flexibility.
And the guy says, where is it? "I understand. I will transmit this information to Vladimir, and I stand with you." Yeah, who was it exactly that was colluding with Russia? Just asking. As if we don't know. Okay, so let's go on. We are on drop 4241, and we are wrapping up here shortly, and we will have gotten through all of the Q posts, which is awesome. Now, I don't think that I have the voice to be able to do a third video. I want to, though, because I really want to bring this news. So hopefully tomorrow, and yeah, well, I'll talk about that as soon as we finish these. Okay, remember, this is 4241. Remember, Lindsey Graham will give Senate Judiciary Chairmanship back to Chuck Grassley. Now, this is from an Anon dated today. And this person says Graham shoots down Trump's call for Obama testimony on Russia probe origins, which surprised me too. It really did. It shouldn't, but it did. And right here, it says Graham shoots down, this is from a different source, it says Graham shoots down Trump's call for Obama testimony on Russia probe origin. Senator Lindsey Graham on Thursday brushed back President Donald Trump's pleas for the Judiciary Committee chairman to haul in former President Barack Obama for testimony about the origins of the Russia investigation and the FBI's handling of the investigation into Michael Flynn. So we have both of those two that we just looked at, and then this right here, which has to do with Benghazi, I believe. Now it says, worth remembering, think chess. Do you attack the king in the beginning or middle to end? Queen protects king? Q. Now, this is just a bigger of what we just looked at. Graham shoots down Trump's call, and we've got both of these articles. Now, I'm not going to go out to these articles because basically that sums it up, what we just looked at. And it says, in chess, queen is the most powerful player. Is Hillary Rodham Clinton the queen? Will she be indicted first for Benghazi? Graham doesn't want to call Hussein in to testify. Grassley will take over Senate Judiciary next January. And Sun Q2 says, Hillary will be taken down before Hussein. Queen protects king. Graham not calling Hussein to testify as it's not yet time. Hillary is the first target. Okay, well that would make sense why Graham would not call Hussein to testify as it's not time yet, because Hillary comes first. Queen protects king. Context is important. Look at the picture Q posts of the Special Forces soldier. What name is on his thumb? Hillary. Hence, I think Queen refers to Hillary in this post. Now, let's come back up to this picture and we can look. It says Hillary. And then, of course, all the people that died in Benghazi. We won't forget. And we won't. All right, and next drop, I think this is the second to last, drop 4242, and we've got a link to Lou Dobbs. Well, let's take a look. And let's take a listen. Buckle your seatbelts. Solomon reports anticipates more explosive Spygate evidence to come out against the Obama administration within the next 3 to 4 weeks. Woohoo! That's good news. Now, let's take a listen.
Solomon, award-winning investigative reporter, editor-in-chief of Just the News. John, good to have you with us. A lot to talk about tonight, the unmasking of General Flynn. Who could have imagined where we are tonight, that Judge Sullivan would both encourage a vigorous prosecution from a retired left-wing anti-Trump judge who just had an op-ed published 2 days ago, 3 days ago now, and who is being asked to decide whether or not they should go after General Flynn for perjury. This is not only unconscionable, but it is the height of politically corrupt arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everyone I've talked to today has been exasperated by the judge's conduct. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of show for an inevitable conclusion. At the end of the day, these charges are going to be dismissed against General Flynn because the law requires it. When both parties go in, as they do in this case, And when there is a preponderance of evidence, as there is in this case, of wrongdoing, the courts have consistently allowed a vacation or vacating of a conviction like this. It's just going to extend the drama a little longer, but it's going to inevitably end up, whether it's at the Supreme Court, the appellate court, or the district court, it's going to end up getting the charges are going to be dismissed.
Good.
There is one person in Congress, and that's Lindsey Graham, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, who seems to have both the command of the levers in this particular moment with the Judiciary Committee, who has the power to really investigate the investigators, as he promised he would do almost a year and a half ago, but has done nothing. What the president is encouraging him to call former President Obama. Why is Graham doing everything in his power, it seems, to simply ignore his responsibilities, to spew nonsense and blather, seeming at one point to support the president, at the next to support unknown figures in the deep state, or perhaps even amongst the Democrats? It is quite an act that he is putting on. It is not a performance.
Yeah, listen, I think there's some good news for those of us who wanted transparency and accountability, which is finally, and I do say finally, Lindsey Graham has scheduled a hearing to dig into these very serious issues. I know his investigative staff very well. They're very competent. They've been working very hard behind the scenes. They're going to have some big revelations that are not yet public that will move this narrative along and show just how far-reaching the corruption inside the bureaucracy was. As for the issue of President Obama, there's going to come a moment after that first evidence is laid out in his hearings where people are going to obviously say, hey, this started at the top with President Obama. And then I think Lindsey Graham will have to face the music of his own evidence and decide what he's going to do. And I think that moment may, when the evidence is all out there, there'll be an even more poignant question to the chairman. Why aren't you talking to President Obama? And I think, let's see what the evidence comes out. But keep in mind, over the last few months, there's been a lot of information taken from the National Archives, from the Obama administration. They lay out a very powerful case. We're going to begin to see that evidence over the next 3-4 weeks. And all I can say from what I know from my reporting is buckle your seatbelt.
Well, seatbelts are buckled. I've been in anticipation for so many years now, along with most of the country, that what is in prospect is not quite as bright and vivid as it once was. But I take your counsel, John, and we will remain anticipatory in posture. John, thanks so much. John Solomon, Just the News. Appreciate it.
Okay, that was very good to put everything into perspective, and really exciting that something explosive is going to be coming out within the next 3 to 4 weeks. Buckle your seatbelt. All right, let's go back and let's come down here. And this is the last, I know it's hard to believe, but it's the last one. Unless Q's been posting in the meantime, and I bet you he has. Let me just go out here and check real quick. What am I doing? That's not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be here. No, actually, we will be up to date with this next one. Woohoo! Good for us. Okay. Now, we are going to go out to this, and it's a letter from the Obama office. And again, this is from today, drop 4243. So let's take a look at this, and that will conclude our Q posts for this evening. Now it says, let me see if I can make this bigger. I know, tiny phone people. Okay. Office of Barack and Mishel Obama, March 13th, 2020. And it is to the Honorable David S. Ferrero, Archivist of the United States National Archives and Record Administration. Dear Mr. Ferrero, I write in connection with the November 21st, 2019 request from Senator Johnson and Senator Grassley to the National Archives and Records Administration, NARA, for Obama administration records related to certain meetings connected to Ukraine. As you know, under the Presidential Records Act, the records requested are scheduled for release pursuant to terms under that act. NARA is authorized to provide special access to presidential records to a committee of either House of Congress before their scheduled release date, provided the information in the records is needed for the conduct of its business and is not otherwise available. 44 U.S.C. 2205-2C, by law, both the former and incumbent presidents are provided an opportunity to review the documents and withhold documents from release in order to protect the constitutionality-based interest in the confidentiality of presidential communications. The express terms of the Presidential Records Act, together with the established norms governing its ongoing administration, achieve Congress' legislative purpose of ensuring the public of ownership of presidential records while assiduously minimizing outside interference with the day-to-day operations of the president and his closest advisors. So, President Obama has consistently supported the nonpartisan administration of presidential records and the commitment to transparency, blah, 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 blah. When are we going to get to the meat of this? So let me see here. The request for early release of presidential records in order to give credence to a Russian disinformation campaign, one that has already been thoroughly investigated by a bipartisan congressional committee, is without precedent. See Natasha Bertrand, Senate panel look into Ukraine interference comes up short. Politico, December 2nd, 2019. The use of the special access process serves no legitimate purpose and does not outweigh or justify infringing confidentiality interests that all presidents have sought to protect. Nevertheless, in the interest of countering the misinformation campaign underlying this request, we are prepared on this occasion to provide the committee access to the records responsive to this request. In doing so, we emphasize that abuse of this special access process strikes at the heart of presidential confidentiality interests and undermines the statutory framework and norms that govern access to presidential records. So, he is granting access, but he's saying that it's in order to give credence to a Russian disinformation campaign. And of course, we know that is not the case. So in this case, it's Barack Obama being Barack Obama. So there you go. And just shows me that sounds like he's panicking. Just saying. So that is it, really. And yeah, that brings us up to date with Q. Now, I do wish that I could bring you the other news that I wanted to bring you, but I'm hoping to do that tomorrow. Now, tomorrow is a bit of a unique day for me because I do have to help my mother with some things. But I am fully planning on, I should be done by probably late afternoon and should still have time to prepare a show. And already I've got several news items already, so I really do have a show in and of itself for tomorrow just by the news from today, because we haven't even touched on some of that. And of course, tomorrow will probably be full of its own news. So I don't know, but I do know that I will be posting. I just probably will not be posting two. So I'll have to choose. If Q posts tomorrow, I'll have to choose which is more important, the news or Q. So anyway, that is it for this evening. Thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate you guys. I know I say that all the time, but I really do. You guys are the best. You really are. I don't know what I'd do without you, really, especially during this lockdown, which is what I call it, because really, I just have the cats to talk to, basically. And, you know, they don't, well, they do talk, but not in the way you would expect. It's not like we can have deep intellectual conversations or anything, you know. So I do look forward to you guys and forward to the comments and so forth. So, all right, you guys stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and please, please keep seeking truth. The truth will definitely set you free. Good night, guys. See you in the next video.